Hello everyone, I am Leah and this is Tom and I am the station manager and he's the assistant station manager at Slash TV.
Today, we have been very fortunate to sit down with a TV industry professional, Julian Dismore. We're going to hopefully ask him some questions, and we've got some questions from both us and our members. So over the next 15 minutes, hopefully you can give us some of our wisdom about getting into the TV industry for students like ourselves. So, Julian, thanks for joining us. How are you today?
Not bad. I'm sort of in the middle of a global pandemic. I don't know if you've heard about it. It's called COVID-19.
Yeah.
It's like a zombie apocalypse, but not as entertaining. So I'm getting a bit stir crazy. I've been pretty much at home now for the last 6 months. But you've got to find a way to adapt and survive. So rather than making telly, I've been giving other people tips on how to make telly. So I'm quite enjoying doing my Zoom training courses.
Cool, cool. Okay, so just to start off then, to get people to know you a bit better, could you sort of like briefly describe your career so far?
I've been in television for 33 years now, incredibly. I started in 1988. It's so long ago, everything was in black and white. There were no, well, that's exaggerating, but it was a long time ago. There were no computers, no laptops, no emails, no sat-navs, no mobile telephones. So how we made television, I'll never know, but we did. I worked for the science department for Yorkshire Television, making ITV shows for a long time, the documentaries department. I left YTV in 2002, and since I've been a freelancer, making programs for National Geographic, Animal Planet, BBC, ITV, Channel 5, Discovery Channel, even Horse and Country TV. So I've worked for all the main broadcasters, mainly in factual programs, but I've also done a few drama documentaries.
Cool. So obviously, I can't imagine you've been doing much actual on location stuff recently, considering anything. But have there been any over the last few years any big projects that you've been doing?
Yeah, so I mean, over the last few years, I've been making series like one for Netflix called Click for Murder. That's about social media related murders. Until I worked on that series, I thought Grindr was dating for grandparents. But now, having worked on that series, I realise it isn't. I did a series called The Sheriffs Are Coming, series one of that. Traffic Cops last year for Channel 5. Casualty 24/7 for Channel 5. Caught Red-Handed for the BBC. And I've just done a series Channel 5 called The Mega Council Estate Next Door, which went out a month or so ago. I did rather well, actually, got over 1 million viewers, so I'm very pleased with that.
Cool, I'll have to check them out.
Yeah, they sound good.
Yeah. So I understand that, like us two here, you've had experience very early on working in student television. Is there anything you want to tell us a bit more about that experience?
So I went to Cambridge University back in the 80s. I was a comprehensive boy. I'm not posh, but I went to Cambridge University. And I did economics in the end. I was going to do natural sciences, but I discovered they had Saturday morning lectures. And there's no way I was doing Saturday morning lectures, so I transferred to economics. Then halfway through my second year, I realized I didn't want to go to the city. I didn't want to become an accountant or go into banking. So I decided to ask my friends what they suggested I should do. And they said, well, try the creative industry, Julian, a creative kind of guy. So I thought, well, okay, then I'll try television. So there was no student television in those days. There was student radio. So I did student radio at Cambridge, and I know there was 0 listeners because I used to sort of say, right, £100 prize for anyone that can name the capital of England, and nobody would enter. So I know no listeners, but it was good practice. I enjoyed it. I did a student television training course. That was 6 Wednesday nights. Cost me 50 quid altogether, I think. And that was training in studio directing skills. And again, I enjoyed that. I did some student journalism as well, and I enjoyed that. So, I mean, one tip I'd give to any students watching is, do student television, do student radio and journalism, do all these things, just if you enjoy it. And if you do enjoy it, then maybe the media industries are right for you.
Cool, thanks. Well, I know we enjoy it at least.
Yeah, we really do. We're doing it for the software. Yeah.
It is now, yeah. We're in our third year and we have some members as early as their first year now. So I think it's good for them to hear that anyone starting in this position can get somewhere like you did. So for students like us then, who are still in education in a university setting, what do you recommend that we should be doing right now to get prepared to step into the big wide world and enter the industry?
It's extremely important that students are thinking about that moment in 2 or 3 years' time, or maybe it's next year when they graduate. And it's a heck of a shock. I remember it very clearly because up until now, your lives have been neatly mapped out. Primary school, secondary school, sixth form, university, neatly mapped out. You kind of know where you're going next. When you graduate, you don't. It's all down to you. You receive your own destiny, and it's a shocking moment. But the key thing is to prepare for that moment by boosting your CV, getting work experience, doing student television, although on your CV, I suggest don't call it student television, but call it online digital media for a youth demographic or something, make it seem more impressive than student TV, which obviously is impressive, but you need to finesse your CV to make it more attractive. You need to be searching contacts on LinkedIn, on social media, watching the credits of programs, looking for production managers and producers, all these people that might want to give you work, track them down, send your CV, and work on your introductory email. Your email needs to be succinct, to the point, your skills, your experience, all these things people like me who are employing, giving chances want to see. That's what you'll be doing right now for the next months, next years, getting ready for that scary moment when you graduate.
Cool, thank you. So upon graduating then, having prepared for it at that point, what would you recommend is like the first steps that you should do immediately upon graduating, ready to find some form of work?
As soon as you graduate, you're out in the big wide world. You need to find a job as soon as you can. I mean, one thing to point out is extremely unlikely people will go straight into a full-time television job or a full-time radio or a full-time journalism job. It's just extremely unlikely that's going to happen unless your dad runs the BBC or your mum owns a production company. What's more likely is you need a portfolio career where you spend some time doing television, sometime, if you're lucky, sometime doing bar work, sometime doing web design. You need to be aware of the fact you probably have to have a portfolio career. And to achieve those rare and lucky television gigs, you need to be sending loads of CVs out, loads of emails out, just doing your best to give yourself the best chance of getting those precious positions, because there aren't many knocking around. There are a lot of students who have media studies skills, media studies degrees, who are very, very talented that you're competing with. So you need to be on it like a car bonnet, singing a sonnet near Thanet to have a chance of making it. But if you try hard enough for long enough and you're lucky, then you will.
Cool, thank you.
So we'll now move on to the members' questions. So we've got a few here. So the first question is, how important is it to have a social media presence?
It's extremely important to have a social media presence online. Even if you're just a receiver and not a broadcaster, if you like, you need to be using social media to find contacts, to track people down. LinkedIn is great for that, because on LinkedIn, you can be quite specific in looking for TV people, production people. Whenever I say TV, I mean online YouTube videos. My son does a lot of YouTube videos and online media, going around the world making motorsports videos. So it's not just broadcasting in the conventional sense, it's all kinds of broadcasting. But you can use LinkedIn very, very selectively and productively. Now, LinkedIn has a special package, which is £50 a month, which gives you access to a lot of people and in-mail messages. You get that free for a month before you start paying. So my tip is to get the free package for a month, rinse it for contacts and lots of requests and in-mail messages with your CV, asking for contacts, but then don't start paying for it. So bail out of that at the end of that first month, but make the most out of LinkedIn. But you need a LinkedIn profile. But the key thing is your LinkedIn profile must not say student. What are you trying to do? You're trying to get jobs. You're trying to get work experience. So why label yourself a student? Call yourself a runner or an edit assistant or a production coordinator. Make yourself seem marketable. That's what you need to do.
Amazing, thank you. And so someone has asked, how does someone pitch ideas for TV shows to like a studio or company, and how do they reach a point in their career where that's something they're able to do?
When it comes to pitching ideas, it's important to be realistic. It's extremely unlikely. I've never heard of it. A student or even a researcher, a rookie coming in with an idea that's commissioned by a broadcaster. That's just the reality of it, because the companies, the big companies, have big development teams. Big development teams who know all the commissioners, they know the broadcasters, they know the trends, they know what the channels want, they know all about the slots. Pitching an idea involves all these things. Often it comes with talent as well, on-screen talent. So you go to a broadcaster with Martin Clunes on board or with Joanna Lumley on board, and because these days that sort of talented on-screen presence is essential to getting a programme commissioned. However, going into an interview with ideas and suggestions shows you're bright, shows you're motivated, and it shows that you know the industry. If you go in with those thoughts of, I've got an idea, I think it'll work for this channel, I think it's this slot, I think it'll be presented by this person, that's a great sign. But the odds of getting commissioned are 1 in a million, to be honest. And you know, as you get older and you get more and more experience, you might join with these development teams, and you might start pitching ideas and writing proposals. But that develops later in your career, and you maybe made some television, you know what it involves.
Thank you.
Someone has asked, what has been your most valuable experience while working in the TV industry?
My most valuable experience whilst working in television, well, I'll say my most valuable experience before I started working in television, and that was working behind a bar for 2 summers. It's very important to realise as a student that working behind a bar, working as a waiter or a waitress or in retail, those are really important skills in terms of communicating with people, talking to people, not being shy, learning to be part of a team. That's all really handy skills, and I love it on a CV when I see those kind of skills on there. Apart from that, moving into my career, the important thing has been resilience, trying to make sure I always get a programme, no matter the challenges I've got to overcome. As a series producer, my job is to oversee the programmes, to run the teams, to help with the directing, help with the writing, help with the talent, on-screen talent, help with the editing. It's my responsibility to deliver the programme, and it's always challenges, always things going wrong. It's very, very important not to let those things go on top of you and to do your best to still deliver the best programme you can with the money you've got in the time you've got.
Great. And the last question we've got here today is, as we know, networking is very important. What advice do you have to make as many connections as possible? So I know you mentioned LinkedIn. Is there anything else?
Networking is very, very important in television. It's not who you know, it is who you know as well as what you know. And the fact of the matter is that you can accumulate contacts through LinkedIn, through social media, through watching credits of programs and looking at websites of different production companies and emailing them. That's all cold contacts. The key thing to be doing is accumulating contacts. You get work experience, you befriend, you get on well with the other people in that company, you get referees. That's very important. I run workshops in how to get into television and how to get on in television. I'm running one on the 10th of November and also the 13th of November in presenting skills. And one thing I spend quite a lot of time on during that course is getting across the importance of finding contacts and then keeping those contacts sweet. Working hard for people, being loyal to people, not dissing them behind the back, because it always gets back to them if you do criticize someone behind the back. Working really, really hard for them. And those mentors, create those mentors, will take you up the career ladder as they progress up the career ladder. All these things are ever so important. And networking is important. I always find it very amusing if I'm on location and I say to the runner, do you want to come for a drink with us all after the shoot? And the runner will say, no, I need to get back home, or I need to go back to the hotel room. Such a bad idea. You have to socialize. You have to network. Go for drinks. Go for cigarette breaks if you smoke. Don't start smoking if you do smoke, but if you do smoke, go for cigarette breaks with others. Get chatting. Go for team lunches. Go to wrap parties. That's when people get to know you, get to like you. You see your boss looking their hair down, you can chat to the boss. And that's the sort of person who tends to do very well in television.
Amazing, thank you.
Yeah, that's really amazing, thank you. So just to finish off then, you mentioned the workshops briefly, Gus. Do you want to talk a bit more about that and any other places where students can find out more ways to get advice from you?
Sure. So it's very, very important that students use social media effectively. I'm on all kinds of social media. I'm on LinkedIn, I'm on Facebook, I'm on Twitter. I was going to say Grindr there. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Reddit and Tumblr and Insta and TikTok, because my dance moves are great. Now that Michael Jackson's dead, I'm officially the best dancer in the world. And my handle is at Direct Productions UK, at Direct Productions UK. It's very important people follow me, because there's lots of tips on there on how to get into television. There's lots of videos on my YouTube channel, Direct Productions TV, with more tips. And I also do job opportunities and WorkX opportunities every Thursday. So people to be following people like me on social media, and other people to follow are things like TV Runners on Facebook, the Talent Manager, Water Cooler TV. You've got to be following people like me and organizations like that to see where the opportunities are coming. I also run workshops on Zoom. So I've been doing Zoom workshops for 5-6 months now on how to get into television, and that's generating contacts, job interview technique, how to finesse your CV, because a CV for the media industries is very different to a CV for ordinary jobs and student vacation jobs. We talk about generating ideas, research skills and runner skills. And that workshop is 4 or 5 hours long. And it's the next one's coming up in the next few weeks. To find out more about that, go to my website, which is www.directproductions.com. And if you go to directproductions.co.uk, if you go to upcoming courses, you'll find out all about the upcoming courses. But it's on my social media as well. I regularly mention my upcoming courses because students find them so helpful. I ran one yesterday, and I'm running, like I say, a couple more in a few weeks' time, because you can make easy mistakes that can really throw a spanner in your works when it comes to getting jobs in television. Simple mistakes, spelling mistakes on your CV, your introductory email not being composed right, your job interview technique being poor, because it's very important to prepare for job interviews like preparing for an exam, because they can change your life. So these skills I teach on my Zoom courses are essential to avoid going down cul-de-sacs and wasting years potentially not getting the job of your dreams, which obviously everybody wants to have.
Yeah, it's great, thank you. We'll make sure to leave all of Julian's websites and social medias in the description. So if you are interested in looking at any of them, check down below and you can sign up for them if you wanted to. Okay, so thank you so much, Julian, for sitting down and talking to us today. We really, really appreciate it. To finish off, is there any last things that you wanted to say at all?
I think the main thing that students need to realise is that they're not the centre of the universe. If they send an email off or a CV off, the odds are it won't be opened. The odds are it won't be looked at, that CV. So send loads of CVs off, loads of emails. Boost your chances by being prolific in that respect. Because the more seeds you sow, the more chance you've got of one of those seeds landing in the right place at the right time and germinating and you flourishing. But it is all about being persistent and not taking no for an answer. And you need to be boosting your CV during your university years. My son went to Loughborough to do sports science. He spent that 3 years making videos for the basketball team, the rugby team, the cricket team, making contacts, learning skills. He self-taught himself, camera skills, self-taught edit skills. And as a result of that, when he graduated, he had so many contacts and so much on his CV that he had loads of offers. And now he's flying all around the world, making sports videos for online channels. And that's a dream job. And if you do a dream job, if you enjoy your work, then you never do a day's work in your life. So it's very, very important people put the effort in now to make the most of their careers when the time comes.
Cool. Well, that brings us to the end of this, and thank you again for sitting down to talk to us, and wish you all the best for when everything hopefully gets a bit back to normal.
Thank you.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, guys.